I mean, it was normally a shoot and scoot across the border. It was just a burst like they normally did then, you know, that it would be a burst and away, because they didn't want, obviously, to get involved in a firefight, because, you know, there was 10 of us. We were based in Rosslea police station, which was right on the border. It was a small country police station. I think it was 3 coppers in there. And they would rotate through on some of the other police stations as well. We had a section in Rosslea and platoon headquarters, a section in Lisnaskey, and another section in Newtown Butler. And that was one platoon, which was a massive area. If you went out of the village one way, the only way you were going to go to, or the only place you could go to, was the border, where the engineers had blown the roads, so there were only a number of crossing points which were controlled by the police. But if you went to one of the illegal crossing points, we had to go and check on them to make sure that they hadn't been filled back in again. And the people were using it for cross-border smuggling, and it was also, you know, if it was an easier route, then that's what they would take. But every time we went down out of Rosslea on that road, we knew that somebody in the village that was watching would be phoning across the border. And there was a house just across the border, and we had numerous shootings from that house. And we tried putting patrols down there, dropping off 2 people who would then basically snipers hide themselves, hoping that the next time we sent a patrol down there, the gunmen would open up so they could then have a crack at the gunmen. It never happened that way. Virtually finished the tour, and the new unit that was taken over from us was, I'm sure it was an artillery unit who were being used in the infantry role for the first time, because the infantry were getting hammered for tours. It was, you know, 6 months on, 6 months off, basically. So they were using other units in the infantry role, especially in rural areas, to spread the load. And I was showing around the new unit, and I took them down to the border crossing point that had been blown to show them the house where the guy normally fires from. And I said, he normally fires from there, and he did. And he opened up with an Armalite. So we started scattering, and as I was running down the road back towards the vehicles, I was knocked to the ground, and that was it. It's like being punched in the boxing ring. You're dazed for a moment, and you're not sure whether you're upright or lying flat on your back. I found myself in the culvert at the side of the road, in the gutter, as it were, and the guys being trained, the Fusiliers, were moving back in their pairs back towards the vehicles and extracting themselves from there. The artillery guys that we showed, I think there's only 2 of them, a sergeant and a corporal, they legged it back to the vehicles. And the guys got me back to the vehicles, drove me back to Rosslea. We thought it was just a flesh wound at the time. And they took me to the local doctor, who said, I don't want anything to do with this. I don't, you know, please out, you know, I've got to live here. And then we went back to the police station. By then, the platoon commander had called for a helicopter, and they extracted me from there by helicopter to Armagh. And when they checked me there, they said, it's more serious than we thought. And took me down to Musgrove Park, where they had the military wing there. And a gentleman called Major Hugh Thomas operated on me, and he's the one who told me afterwards that it severed the femoral artery. And I thought, well, you know, you fixed it now, it should be all right, should it, you know? But it wasn't. And 50 years last month from being shot to having my last operation. It was 50 years. I've had about 10, I think now, 10 procedures, either surgical or angioplasty or something along those lines.